Did Wendy Williams' son just claim that she was poisoned? News recently broke that Wendy is permanently disabled, unable to walk or talk, and they are attributing this to her dementia. While I want to believe that's true, there's a twist: her own son is saying she was poisoned. Why is this information coming out now, especially when her legal guardian is trying to block the release of a documentary about her? Something doesn't add up. Let's break this down. So what's really going on with Wendy? It depends on who you ask. According to her guardian, Sabrina Morsi, Wendy is in the worst condition she's ever been in. Sabrina is the one who filed a lawsuit against Lifetime, attempting to stop the release of the documentary. And it was Sabrina who publicly revealed that Wendy is struggling with early-onset dementia. That's right, our girl, Wendy, went from being the queen of Hollywood gossip, spilling industry secrets and sharing the latest tea on daytime TV, to now struggling with cognitive impairment and being permanently incapacitated. And Sabrina's team is doing everything they can to keep certain details under wraps. She's been asking the courts to redact any information related to Wendy's health, family, and finances. It's clear: protect her at all costs. While Sabrina has been working to keep things private and dignified, Lifetime and Wendy's family have been doing the complete opposite. They've been deep into producing the Where is Wendy Williams documentary, and Sabrina is having none of it. She's been fighting relentlessly to stop its release, calling it exploitative and insisting it's not what Wendy needs right now. Even though Sabrina ultimately didn't succeed in blocking the documentary, I really think she had a valid point. I'll explain why in a minute, but first let's talk about Wendy's son, because he's got a completely different perspective on all of this. Allegedly, he's been hinting that his mom might have been poisoned. By whom exactly? Well, that's a question you'll have to ask him. But here's something interesting: he really doesn't get along with Sabrina. The man had been talking about becoming his mom's guardian, taking care of her, getting her off the alcohol, and encouraging her to get outside and connect with nature when everything started going downhill. Now, here's something you probably don't know: right before the Lifetime documentary aired, Wendy's medical team made an announcement that she was diagnosed with primary progressive aphasia and frontal temporal dementia (FTD). Yeah, it's as serious as it sounds. The real kicker, though, her own family had no idea about this diagnosis before it was made public. Kevin was told that Wendy had alcohol-related dementia, so this news was just as much of a shock to him. How does an entire family get blindsided like that? That's what I want to know. Why would Kevin allow a money-driven, exploitative outlet like Lifetime to release a story they hadn't even gotten a professional opinion on yet? Everyone's been talking about Wendy's dementia being caused by alcohol, but that's not the whole truth. That's what's wrong with the documentary and how Kevin handled the situation, which is likely why Sabrina fought so hard to block it. In February 2024, Sabrina sued Lifetime and its parent company, AE Television Networks, to prevent the release of Where is Wendy Williams, a documentary following Wendy's life from 2022 to 2023. Sabrina argued that the film took advantage of Wendy's vulnerable situation and presented her in a degrading and undignified way. If you've seen the documentary, you know that's the truth. And do you know how much Lifetime paid Wendy for this? Take a guess. $882,000. For something that likely earned the network millions. If Wendy were in her right mind, there's no way she would have agreed to that. She was exploited, and that's why Sabrina filed the lawsuit. According to the lawsuit, the documentary falsely portrayed Wendy as broke and suggested her actions were a result of substance abuse. Sabrina also claimed that the film released confidential medical information without her consent or court approval. Let's not forget, Kevin was part of the group spilling that medical information too. As much as I dislike these legal guardianship situations, Sabrina really seems like a woman who is doing everything in her power to protect Wendy, her well-being, and her estate. But her son doesn't see it that way. He believes Sabrina's not doing her job properly and has publicly stated that. Kevin hasn't exactly done a great job of protecting my mom. And for him to say that on camera, it speaks volumes. Fans have been questioning the guardian situation for a while now, but when you realize it's Sabrina who's been managing Wendy's health, finances, and everything else, it starts to shed light on where this is all headed. Let me make it even more interesting. Kevin has been living a lavish lifestyle off his mom's fortune, all without holding a steady job. In March 2024, court documents revealed that Kevin Jr. received an eviction notice for missing over $4,300 in rent. His lease, which started in September 2023, required him to pay $3,713 per month. Although the case was dismissed on March 5th, this wasn't Kevin's first rent issue. Back in 2022, he faced eviction from a $2 million Miami apartment after accumulating $70,000 in unpaid rent. Wendy, his mom, stepped in then, covering his first year's rent with a $100,000 payment. Kevin later blamed his financial troubles on Wendy's declining health and her loss of control over her finances, saying that's why he no longer had her support. But here's the thing, Kevin isn't a child anymore. Wendy had him in 2000, and now he's 24. He should be focusing on building his own life, not relying on his mom. Sure, her wealth will eventually be his, but this isn't the way to build his future. He seems like the type who'll just keep living off her wealth rather than creating something for himself. It's easy to brush things off, and it's no surprise that Kevin's father has been trying to do the same. That's why I don't blame Sabrina for being so protective of Wendy's finances lately. Wendy's health issues forced Sabrina to sell her New York penthouse, which she bought in 2021 for $4.5 million, for just $3.75 million, taking a $750,000 loss. A lot of people saw this as a red flag, and I was one of them, but it's probably more complicated than we realize. Wendy's son recently revealed that he couldn't get in touch with her directly, that he was cut off from both her and her finances. To me, that's sad and might even be a little wrong, but you've got to admit, the boy hasn't exactly done a good job of looking out for his mother. He knew she was ill when he went on Lifetime and participated in a documentary, telling the world that her dementia was caused by too much alcohol. He let that happen and even took part in it. Just 6 months after being evicted for the second time due to unpaid rent, he threw a huge birthday bash for his 24th. We still don't know what he actually does for a living, or if he only survives on the allowance his mom provides from her fortune.